Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are continuing with our reading from the Srimad-bhagavatam. Today we are on Canto 8, Chapter 3, Text 15. The chapter is called Gajendra's Prayers of Surrender. So we chant the Sanskrit. Namo namaste kila karanaya. Nishkaranayan Bhuta Karanaya. Sarvagamanaya Maharnavaya. Namo Pavargaya Parayanaya. Namo Namaste Kilakaranaya. Nishkaranaya Bhutakaranaya. Sarvagamanaya Maharnavaya. Namo Pavargaya Parayanaya. Namo Namaste Kilakaranaya. Nishkaranayan Bhutakaranaya. Sarvagamanaya Maharnavaya. Namo Pavargaya Parayanaya. Namaste Karanaya. Nishkaranaya Bhutakaranaya. Sarvagamanaya Maharnavaya. Namo Pavargaya Parayanaya. Om Namaste Kilakaranaya. Nishkaranaya Bhutakaranaya. Sarvagamanaya Maharnavaya. Namo Pavargaya Parayanaya. Word for word synonyms. Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances. Namaha. Again, I offer my respectful obeisances. Te, unto you. Akila Karanaya, unto the supreme cause of everything. Nishkaranaya, unto you who are causeless. Adbhuta Karanaya, the wonderful cause of everything. Sarva, all. Agama Amnaya, unto the source of the Parampara system of all Vedic knowledge. Maha-Arnavaya, the great ocean of knowledge, or the great ocean wherein all the rivers of knowledge merge. Namaha, I offer my obeisances. Apavargaya, unto you who can give deliverance or liberation. Parayanaya, the shelter of all transcendentalists. Translation. My Lord, and this of course is a prayer, a continuation of Gajendra's prayers. My Lord, you are the cause of all causes, but you yourself have no cause. Therefore, you are the wonderful cause of everything. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are the shelter of the Vedic knowledge contained in the Shastras, like the Pancharatras and the Vedanta Sutra, which are your representations, and who are the source of the Parampara system. Because it is you who can give liberation, you are the only shelter for all transcendentalists. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Repeat after me. My Lord, you are the cause of all causes. But you yourself have no cause. Therefore, you are the wonderful cause of everything. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are the shelter of Vedic knowledge contained in the Shastras, like the Pancharatras and the Vedic Sutras, which are your representations, and who are the source of the Parampara system. Because it is you who can give liberation, you are the only shelter for all transcendentalists. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is described herein as the wonderful cause. He is wonderful in the sense that although there may be unlimited emanations from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Janmantashayataha, he always remains complete. Purnasya Puram Adaya Purnam Eva Vasishyate. It's from the Srimad-bhagavatam. In our experience in the material world, if we have a bank balance of $1 million, as we withdraw money from the bank, the balance gradually diminishes until it becomes nil. However, the Supreme Lord, the Personality of Godhead, is so complete that he always, that although innumerable personalities of Godhead expand from him. Let's read that again. However, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is so complete that although innumerable personalities of Godhead expand from him, he remains the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purnasha Puram Ajya, Purnam Eva Vashishyate. Therefore, he is the wonderful cause, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Ishwara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Quote, Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme controller. He has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, for he is the prime cause of all causes. Even in this material world, we can understand that the sun has existed for millions of years and has given off heat and light since its creation. Yet, the sun still retains its power and never changes. What then is to be said of the supreme cause, Param Brahma? Krishna, everything emanates from him personally, perpetually. Yet he remains his original form, Satchidananda Vigraha. Krishna personally says in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse 8, Patak sarvam pravartate. Everything emanates from me. End quote. Everything emanates from Krishna eternally, and yet he is the same Krishna and he does not change. Therefore, he is the shelter of all transcendentalists who are eager to get free from the material bondage. Everyone must take shelter of Krishna. It is therefore advised, Akama sarvakamo va moksha kama udarati tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Quote, whether one desires everything or nothing or desires to merge into the existence of the Lord, he is intelligent only if he worships Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by rendering transcendental loving service. It's from the Srimad-bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 3rd chapter, 10th verse. Parang Brahma, the Supreme Lord, and Parang Brahma, the Supreme Lord, and Parang Dhamma, the Supreme Repose, is Krishna. Therefore, anyone who desires anything, whether he be a karmi, a jnani, or a yogi, should try to conceive of the Supreme Personality of Godhead very seriously, and all of our desires will be fulfilled. The Lord says, Ye yatamang prapadante tangstataiva bhajamyaham. As the living entities surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Even the karmi who wants everything for his enjoyment even the karmi who wants everything for his enjoyment, can get it from Krishna, for Krishna supplying for Krishna supplying what he wants is not at all difficult. Actually, however, one should worship Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for the sake of getting liberation. Vedais Chasarvar Ahang Eva Vedya. By studying the Vedic literatures, one should understand Krishna. As confirmed here, Sarvagamayan, Sarvagamanaya, Maha Ranvaya. He is the ocean, and all Vedic literatures flow toward him. Therefore, the intelligent transcendentals take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sarva Dharman Purichaja Mamikam Sharanam Praja. This is the ultimate goal. Oh my God, Timuran Vishakana Janashalakaya. Chakshurun Viditam Nina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, one point is that Krishna, according to this verse, Krishna is the source of the parampara system. The parampara system means the system of guru, disciple, and their disciples, and their disciples, and their disciples, who handed this knowledge down. But this knowledge was not created by some ordinary living entity. This knowledge was the beginning of all the parampara lines of parampara system. Lord Krishna is the source. He is the source of that original knowledge, and it's his devotees who have handed it down over time. So that's actually very significant, because we are in the material life. Most of the time, the knowledge that we get, material knowledge that we get, is coming from inductive process. It's called. Inductive is like the material sciences. You start not knowing anything. You make your theory. You make your test and try to figure out how you can determine the what you want to find out. You're going through all that, but the problem with the system, the problem with the inductive system, means putting in your own conclusions, is that we who may be doing that are we're not perfect. Of course, someone may argue, of course, error is human, nobody's perfect. They say it, and it's known. Everyone knows these things. So if we are coming up with so much knowledge, by that inductive process, by trying to figure things out, by speculating, by experimenting, and so on, in any field of knowledge, if that's the source of our knowledge, then it's going to be imperfect. It's got to be imperfect, because we, conditioned souls, have some defects. They're built in it's built into the being a conditioned soul. There's a defect We have imperfect senses. We have a tendency to fall into illusion. We make mistakes, and we have a tendency to cheat, to say things and do things to give, say things and do things in our day-to-day life, which may not be exactly true. So anyone who's not a pure devotee, a Paramahansa devotee, topmost devotee, will have these defects. So if we were trying to figure out, the source of knowledge, the knowledge, and we're trying to understand what life is all about, and what should be done, what should not be done, based on our own speculations and experimentations and so on. If we're trying to find out like that, we're going to be wrong. At least most of the time, we're going to be wrong because that knowledge is coming from our own, is being gathered by our own imperfect senses. So the parampara system, which is what was mentioned here, parampara system means you start off with Krishna. Krishna is perfect. Krishna has all knowledge, and he gives that knowledge in the parampara system, and that knowledge is handed down. And we come to we gradually comes down to where we are. And it says that guru is one. The term guru is one. Uses that terminology. Guru is one. We have here the term guru tattva. Guru tattva literally means truth, but it's the mood of that truth, the mood of that word tattva or truth, it means it's a principle. So guru, although there are individuals who are gurus, and there have been many over the years, and there will be many in the future, that's there. But the knowledge stays the same. So that's why Srila Prabhupada explains, that's why we say guru is one, because the Lord Krishna is the original guru. He's giving this knowledge, and each of his disciples, or each of the recipients of this knowledge, as it goes down through time, they are repeating it perfectly. And we may say, "Oh, how is it possible if we're all conditioned souls, if we're all imperfect? How can even they repeat perfect knowledge perfectly?" And because we can easily ask that kind of question, but it's not. The principle is that if one has surrendered to the shelter of the pure devotee, the shelter of the spiritual master, then he becomes capable of taking that knowledge and actually repeating it without changing it. Right? He's got the written knowledge. At least in Kali Yuga, we have everything written. Srila Vyasadeva compiled and wrote down all of these Vedic scriptures. So we have that, and it is possible to repeat this perfect knowledge without changing it, and that's the principle of the Guru Tattva. Means the Guru is teaching, and disciples are just accepting it and teaching it, and repeating it, and teaching it, and also increasing their own level of realizations from that knowledge. This is the parampara system. And we may question, well, if after say like 5,000 years, this is when Lord Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita again to Arjuna, or from before that. The Srila Prabhupada explains that the Lord Krishna originally spoke the Bhagavad Gita knowledge to the sun god Vivaswan, and he explains that that was over 120 million years ago. But that same knowledge we have today. Well, maybe it was broken in there somewhere, but basically it's the same knowledge. Nothing has changed. So this is the system. So material knowledge changes constantly. Material knowledge always changes. Even I remember I spent 1 year in college, and I was going, I had different courses for the field that I was going to go into, and one of the courses was chemistry. I was going into engineering field, so they required that you have some few quarters of chemistry. And so, but I don't remember the Shri Gaura Shri Radha Brija Vihari Jagannath Balaram Lady Subhadra Lord Nishikade Prahlad Maharaj Ki. But I remember as I went through from one quarter to the next, and I don't remember exactly the details now. It's been a long time, but I made notes at that time that there were different points that were presented as factual. This is like perfect knowledge. They're saying, but over the course of that 1 year I was in school, the textbook itself had made different changes. Okay, this is perfect, and then they actually changed it later on, and changed it later on. I was seeing like that. So even in the course of that one course, this was being done. What to speak of over a period of hundreds of years, thousands of years, there's always going to be imperfection, unless it's coming down from a spiritual master who is giving perfect knowledge and is being accepted with full surrender and a humble mood from disciples who are learning it from the spiritual master. This is just and in that way we have this knowledge today. And how do we know today that what we have is good? It's not all contaminated and useless because of thousands of years of passing it down like that. And how do we know? We know, and they say the test of the pudding is in the taste. So the test of the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad-bhagavatam and these other Vedic literatures that we have, and the test of it that is true and that it's been passed down properly is that if we follow them, if we study them, if we follow them, we will gradually become Krishna conscious. That's the proof. If someone is just made to use the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna's words in Bhagavad Gita, and they just wanted to show off their scholarly tendency and they were writing all kinds of commentaries based on their speculation about what Bhagavad Gita really means, it's useless. That has no value at all. But to take the Bhagavad Gita, like Srila Prabhupada called his Bhagavad Gita as it is, And meaning is that the knowledge has been passed down, and he's also giving it to us in the same way that Lord Krishna had given it. Okay, so anyway, this is one point in this purport. Another point. There's a verse quoted here. It's actually from the Srimad-bhagavatam, second canto, third chapter, the 10th verse. The verse is akama sarva kamo va moksha kama utaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. So this is a kind of an important verse. And where it comes up in the Srimad-bhagavatam, there are several, in that chapter, there are several statements, verses, saying, like if you want to worship, if you want this benefit, this material benefit, you worship this demigod. If you want that material benefit, you worship this demigod. If you want some other benefit, you worship this demigod, and so on. And then after several verses like that, then the real conclusion is this, that the translation of that verse is, whether one desires everything or nothing, or desires to merge into the existence of the Lord, he is intelligent only if he worships Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by rendering transcendental loving service. So, after it was mentioned in that chapter, so many different demigods that you can worship and get certain kind of material benefits, then the conclusion was, no, but don't worship the demigods. If you have all material desires, then you worship Krishna. If you have no material desires, akama, then you worship Krishna. Sarva kama, if you have all material desires, worship Krishna. Moksha kama, moksha means liberation. So if you have, even if you have desire for liberation on any level, whether merging in the Brahman effulgence or on some other level, worship Krishna. And in that way, he says, one who does that, he is intelligent only if he worships Lord Krishna. So the conclusion is, we're not even considered intelligent. We may have big university degree. We may have, a PhD. We may have several PhDs. But if we don't come to the conclusion that the goal of life is to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, if we're not coming to that conclusion, then we are considered to be unintelligent. You can see how, from the spiritual point of view, the definitions change. They change from one. They're different. They're different than if you look up the dictionary definitions. So intelligence actually means what? Srila Prabhupada says intelligence means the ability to analyze a situation in proper perspective. And what is that proper perspective? It means with the understanding that there's the Supreme Lord is in control of everything, and we are Supreme Lord is in control. Supreme Lord is in control of everything, and of course I am spirit soul and I'm servant of Krishna, so that's knowledge. And then based on knowledge, then we worship, and based on that knowledge, we are we make our decisions. So intelligence means that we make some decision, we make some conclusion on the basis of actual knowledge. And knowledge is what? The understanding that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that I am his servant, and everything belongs to Krishna, like that. That is actual knowledge. And knowledge does not mean that you've read thousands of mundane books or anything of that nature. That may be impressive for some, but it's actually not knowledge. You can have 3 PhDs and you may not even believe in God, like that. So the conclusion here of the Srimad of this verse and of this purport is that everyone must take shelter of Krishna, because no matter what you want, everything, nothing, liberation, the conclusion is that we should worship Krishna. And what happens is, of course, if we have no material desires and we worship Krishna, we'll definitely become fully Krishna conscious, or maybe we're already fully Krishna conscious, and that's a perfection. If we have some material desires, but if we worship Krishna, then in due course of time, by that worship of Krishna, then we'll get purified, and then the end result will be that we go back to Godhead. So all material desires or no material desires, or if you want liberation, then worship Krishna too, because ultimately liberation, in the sense of merging in the Brahmajyoti, the pleasure is, although it may be considered very high from one point of view, but it's compared to the actual bliss of engaging in full devotional service to the Lord, that is also very small. So what we advise here in Srimad-bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada's purports, is that no matter what we want, then we should worship Krishna. And then that'll be the perfection. And even if you're worshiping if we have so many material desires and we worship Krishna, what will happen is those material desires will get purified. Those material desires will get purified. And so there's no loss. Either we get the material desire we wanted, or we lose the material desire. In the case of Dhruva Maharaj, well, actually he got both. Dhruva Maharaj, he performed so much heavy austerity, devotional, in the mood of devotional service. He performed so much austerity to try to get the benediction from the Lord, so he could get a kingdom that was better, greater than his father's, his grandfather's, anyone. His father was actually a son of. His father was the son, I'm not sure if he was directly of Lord Brahma or of the Manu who came from Lord Brahma, but he was very high up in the beginning of the universe. His father was. So he wanted a kingdom. We won't go into the whole story right now because there's no time, but he wanted a kingdom that was better, greater than anyone, greater than his grandfather or great-grandfather, who was actually Lord Brahma. So you can imagine the creator of the universe, what kind of a kingdom he has on this planet. But Dhruva wanted that. So he did all this heavy austerity, and in the end he realized the Lord. And when the Lord actually appeared before him, ready to give him whatever benediction he aspired for, they said, "Oh no, my Lord, I was looking for pieces of broken glass, something useless, broken glass." We have broken glass on the floor. You pick it up, so you'll get cut. So he was thinking, all these things I wanted were just broken glass. but even though I was aspiring for that, now I've seen you, I've realized you, and um, I'm just fully satisfied. So he didn't want anything. But of course the Lord, he actually gave it anyway. So after this, Dhruva went back home, and it's just a child. He's 5 years old at the time. Still, he went back home. His father was already old, and because he was a devotee of the Lord, he was really wanting to just go off to the forest, go off, renounce everything, be perfect his life. And so Dhruva actually became the king at a very early age, and he, there are many things that happened during his time as a king, which we won't go into right now. That would be another class in itself. But he, at the end of his life, his perfect life as a Krishna conscious king, when he saw that he was getting old, then he renounced everything, and he went off to the Himalayan mountains, and he performed the particular austerities and so on. Even though he had already perfected his life, but because he was the king, or he had been the king, then others follow his example. So he went off to the mountains, and he sat down and he performed his austerities, his devotional activities for I don't know how much longer. And one day, the Lord Vishnu sent an airplane, a vimana it's called. And it's an airplane that flies by mantra, spiritual airplane. And so he sent his two associates, Nanda and Sunanda were their names, to bring him back in this vimana airplane. So they did. So but even then, he had his morning program. Prabhupada didn't go into a lot of detail about the specific program, but he had some program, like a sadhana, when he saw the airplane came, and the two associates of Lord Vishnu were there waiting for him to board the airplane, so they could take him back to back to Godhead, and so he saw that, but he didn't immediately get up and go. He finished his sadhana and whatever he normally was doing at that time of the day, and then he got up. He bowed down to the offered respectful obeisances to the associates of Lord Vishnu. He circumambulated the airplane, which is like a showing respect. And actually, while he was circumambulating the airplane, his body, the material body, actually transformed into a spiritual body. It took on a golden hue, and he actually got his body became spiritual. Completely spiritual. And then it was time to board the plane, and death personified came. Usually everyone's afraid of death, but death personified actually bowed down to Dhruva Maharaj and stayed in that position so Dhruva could step on his head and step into the plane like that. And then he went back when he went to and where he went we know it's known in Vedic literatures as Dhruvaloka, because he originally did all this austerity, all this devotional service with a material desire, but he did it nonetheless. And when he realized the Lord wanted to give him that benediction. So first he got the Father's kingdom, which he ruled for Satya Yuga. I think it said 36,000 years he was ruling. You can live 100,000 years in that age. So he ruled for 36,000 years. And then when he went back to Godhead, he was taken to this planet, which is within the material universe, but is a spiritual planet. When everything gets destroyed, that planet is not destroyed. So it's an eternal planet, but it's actually within. We know it as the North Star. But we know as the North Star, that bright star that shows up at night. That North Star is actually Dhruva Loka. So anyway, going on with this verse, they were saying, Akama Sarvakama Vav Moksha Kama Dharati. He had material desires, but he worshipped the Lord, and he purified himself. He didn't really want the material things anymore. He was so fully satisfied with his, full heart, Krishna conscious heart. But he in the end, the Lord gave him that kingdom, which was a spiritual planet, which was definitely better than Lord Brahma's planet, or better than his father's planet. And of course, we study all these literatures. We may not be, we're not Dhruva Maharaj, we're not these different personalities that we're reading about here, but we are practicing Krishna consciousness for however many years we've been practicing it, and however many years we will practice. But we should it's to help us to develop the faith that if we stay on the path, stay engaged in Krishna conscious activities, and throughout our lives, up until the end of our life, even like Dhruva Maharaj, he's still performing his sadhana of some sort. Even when the Vaikuntha airplane was there waiting for him, he wanted to finish his morning program. So we should never think that, now I'm really advanced. I'm really fully Krishna conscious now, so I don't need to chant my rounds anymore. I don't need these regular principles are for the neophytes. I can do whatever I want. No, the rule is actually, even when we become fully Krishna conscious, even when we're 100% pure, at that point, at least for no other reason, as an example for the people in general, we need to act like we're neophyte in that sense. Act that we're not neophyte at that point, but we act on that way, chanting our rounds, following the four regular principles, attending Mangal Arati, the program that Srila Prabhupada gave us. But then it's not so much that we need to for our own benefit, but we do need to. We have a responsibility to do it as an example for the people in general and for the other devotees. If Srila Prabhupada had come and just given us the books, and say, okay, just read these books, you're on your own, and I'm going to go about, in some, Gopi Bhava, Srila Prabhupada could have done something completely different, and it wouldn't have hurt his Krishna consciousness. But if he had not come and shown by personal example, he would get up, he would preach, he would didn't so much come to Mangal Arati because he was writing books all morning while the devotees were in the program at that point. But he showed the example. Even up to the end of his life, he showed how to remember Krishna and keep engaging in devotional service, even in the last days and moments of our life. He taught us things like that. So he showed that example for us. And we need to plan and try how we will not only practice Krishna consciousness now, but how until the end of our lives we will continue practicing. We'll continue chanting rounds. We'll continue following the principles. We'll continue preaching Krishna consciousness up until the very end. That was Srila Prabhupada's example, and we need to follow that and give that example for others. We may or may not be in the future, initiating gurus, but there's guru who is also there's Diksha guru, there's Shiksha guru who gives instructions. There can be many any one devotee can have many Shiksha gurus. There's, so many gurus. Bhartma Pradarshika Guru, who teaches the first one to show someone the path of Krishna consciousness, and so on. There are many kinds of gurus. So Lord Chaitanya says, basically everyone becomes guru. So that doesn't mean everyone becomes initiating guru, but everyone should be guru, at least in the sense of giving this knowledge to others and showing the example how to practice and follow this knowledge. This is what Srila Prabhupada wanted and what Lord Chaitanya wanted. So maybe I should stop here. Any questions? Questions? No? I don't see any. Oh, let's see. I don't see any questions online either. A lot of comments, appreciations. Thank you for all who came in. Okay, so there's no question. Then we'll plan that tomorrow we will continue with the next verse, which will be 16 of this chapter. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.